can you really ever get enough of in Bruges? I'm going to say no. For me anyway, Bruges was wonderful. So the slight difference between this video and the video essay is obviously this is photos, but also this tends to capture more of the walk, more of the streets, horse-drawn carts, historical buildings. I also happened to stop in Bruges and go upstairs into this little cafe, and it was just such an old school, beautiful experience. I loved it. I'd gone up there because I wanted to get on a call about a property in Scotland, actually, which I didn't proceed to buy, but it was a church. Anyway, weird. And I remember going up there because I loved the fact it was empty. I wanted a quiet place. I think someone was up there for a little while, and I was a bit like, just because I didn't want to be disturbing them, and I knew I'd need to be on my phone. And but it was a beautiful spot. Like, it was one of those, I've got to say, my day was one of those days where everything just seemed beautiful. The sun was gorgeous. The city is flat. It's easy to traverse. The waterways are beautiful. The trees are beautiful. There's just no aspect of it that I didn't enjoy. So I'm glad I kind of captured as many photos as I did, because I think everywhere I kept turning, I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it was just, it's a beautiful experience. It's a feast for the eyes, for me anyway, and I hope for you. So enjoy. So this may just look like a boring sidewalk, but it's not. It's the path into Bruges from the station that you can see in the distance. And then you hit these beautiful canals, little bridges over them, and quite a few of them, as you can see, are just greenery and parks on either side. And they're beautifully looked after, beautifully preserved. Everything about this walk was just really nice. It's clean, it's tidy, it's historic, it's beautiful. Then you get to come across things like this, and honestly, the horse and cart is quite a theme through Bruges, and it's a beautiful theme to have. A lot of people do the city this way and see it. It's a great opportunity to do it that way. The horses and carts look just right where they're supposed to be, because Bruges is such a historic little place, and it's super accessible by foot, so you don't need to do the horse and carts. But if you did want that experience, every single person I saw having the experience looked really, really happy, so it looks like it's totally worth it. And then of course you've still got those long, beautiful cobblestone streets. You can drive on them, so it is a proper, town where people live and businesses operate, and the old buildings surrounding it. And these over street kind of bridge places where people live in as well, they're just gorgeous, and they're all over the place within Bruges. You're also spoilt for choice for a lot of places to eat, and the eateries take the full advantage of having indoor and outdoor dining during the summer, which is just gorgeous. And the beauty of it, these kind of buildings with this design are all over the place. The trees are kind of just accenting it beautifully. Another shot of these horses and carriages. I was a bit fascinated, I've got to admit, because it isn't something you see everywhere. I did do a boat tour in Bruges where a lot of the photos are taken from, and this is what it looks like from a bridge over a canal. And this is some of those amazing buildings built basically right up to the canals. Churches and financial guilds from back in the day, just beautifully preserved, well looked after. Some were from, I think, the 15th, 16th, even 12th century. Churches and buildings people lived in. Obviously this is part of the churches. I mean, just, it's all different but kind of exciting and beautiful in its own way. And this one's a little more on the modest side, but still it's just cared for, it's preserved, it's like a step back in time. I kind of like how close you felt to them from the boat, because you were right at water level and the buildings were right close. I suppose it's the Venice of Belgium, really. And I exist, see there, I'm on the boat, and I think I captured a church in the background if memory serves. And, steeples, higher bits, it's just, I suppose I'm not underestimating the feast for the eyes for someone who loves history like myself. There's just so much. The architecture in Bruges is well looked after, and it may be just that it missed any of the conflicts that went on in Europe as well. Again, those buildings and the designs, the little canals to walk across. People are leaning across a canal where the boat was going past at that point. And this is a huge part of the reason the boats are so small and so close to the water level, because you go under the little bridges and there's a very short span to space by. And again, they've taken the best advantage of the place and developed a lot of the buildings still. People live there, people work there, there are businesses, cafes, museums. It's been preserved, but it's also been sort of repurposed for the now. I think that's the magic that is Bruges. There's across the side of the water, it's just, again, greenery and markets. It's beautiful. It has a bit of everything. I am fascinated with this style of architecture, which is very common to Belgium, something I saw everywhere. And again, you're coming across those little bridges in the distance, which we went under with the boat trip. Beautiful day, beautiful experience. This is quite pale in comparison to a lot of the buildings. So a lot of them had that red brick, whereas this one had more of the pale colours, but just as beautiful. Different again, though. And that's kind of a wider shot of another church in the distance. This boat tour just kind of took in so much. There's some boat tours that it's just really worth doing because you see and experience so much more. And again, these contrasts on your right and your left. You know, you've got your whites and your blues, and you've got your browns and your reds. So nice. I think I spent the whole time just looking around thinking I have to photograph everything. I have to keep photographing everything. Oh my God, I have to capture that. I need to capture that. Because I think these photos for me, they're taking me back to what was a beautiful experience and one that I just want to recommend to everyone. Bruges never seemed to disappoint with the variations in the buildings and the symbols on them, and just the way they have been looked after and preserved. It's the same everywhere. It's a feast for the eyes. The water with the history, with the greenery. It was exceptionally beautiful. I think there's something about the place that's a little bit fairy tale like and a little bit magical, but there's no question it's worth the experience to be able to go on boats and walk around and even go by horse and cart to just experience all of this in Bruges. So my main time indoors in Bruges was upstairs in this cafe, which was just old world beautiful. It felt like being in an antique. It was old, but old gorgeous. It was just homely, and it was very, very cool. Air conditioning from the outside, which was great, but it just had everything that was old school and traditional. There I am, sitting happily well, I've got earphones I think on. But it was just beautiful. You needed a refreshment, so there's my orange juice before the water came. But it was just, I had it to myself. I could chill and then have a completely naughty treat, which was a crepe. Definitely enjoy them in Belgium and or Bruges. They're gorgeous. Bruges also has a beautiful historical main square, and each building just gets better. This looks like it's a place that, royalty may have lived. It's just different but gorgeous and beautiful. And it's like it's upping the stakes each time you look at a building within this square. It's beautiful, it's well built, it's magnificent. You walk around yourself and you look at it and you're like, my goodness, this is just amazing. And the work on it, the detail is just exceptional. Most of them are museums, by the way, now, so you can experience the inside as well. But it's a little bit of the fairy tale. I know you can see a crane in the background, but it's just old school, beautiful, preserved history. And then this monolith just hits out of nowhere. Everything just looks and feels like it's a place you want to be. But then, sadly, the day must end, and you do go down streets that are a little more regular, a little more everyday, and then you must head out down a secret street and out of Bruges, hopefully to return. So now you've been fully indoctrinated into Bruges, you must go to Bruges, because I just want you to be able to talk to your friends and say the word Bruges a lot, because it's very Brugesy. I don't know, I'm making this up, but it was a lot of fun for me, and I hope a lot of fun for you. It's a location I just think is as nice when you go as you're told it is. There haven't been a lot of locations I've gone to, ironically, travel-wise, where people have said it's nice or it's pretty or it's worth going. There is one, well, Scottish Highlands were another one. This was years ago. But this one recently, I went for the day trip and thought, hey, I'll see what it's like, have a look around, da-da-da. Been to a lot of historical cities, and I was like, whoa, Nelly. Like, whoa, Nelly. This was out of this world, beautiful, easy to traverse, gorgeous, little shops and little cafes, and it was a really nice experience, and one I hope you get to experience. Granted, it might be for people who like historical old towns or cities, and I've been to a lot since, but I still think Bruges will sit in my mind's eye and memory and heart in a special way. Sharing is caring.